Hello everyone, welcome to BhadraIASAcademy. Today in this video I am going to discuss the mains answer writing for the upcoming mains examination. So we are going to look at the GS paper 5, that is the Assam paper for mains. And the topic that we are going to discuss today is the border management topic. Okay, so we are going to look at the question. What is the question? The question is, northeastern states share borders with Bangladesh and Myanmar. Okay, that is the statement. Enumerate the transborder crimes and also insurgent movement across the borders. The second part of the question, examine the steps taken by the government to secure the border. So basically this question is for the mains point of view, upcoming mains, a possible question. So I put it here, how to answer this question. मतलब इस question का answer हमें कैसा लिखना चाहिए. So if you look at this one, the introduction. So mains answer writing, basically we have a introduction, then the body we do the analysis of the actual question, and then if the question requires you to write a conclusion, yeah, way forward, right? So now we begin with the introduction. So how to write introduction for this question? So the statement says that northeastern states share a border with Bangladesh as well as Myanmar. So now the introduction, we take that part, we introduce the northeastern states which are sharing border with Bangladesh. Which are they? We have Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura, right? So these are the four states that basically share border with Bangladesh. So if you look at here also, we have the same states. Assam shares borders here and here, then Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Similarly, if you look at the Myanmar border, which are the states that are sharing border with Myanmar, we have Arunachal, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, right? So that you can write as part of your introduction to this question, right? This becomes the introductory part, just a basic thing. Now come to the body. In the body, we need to analyze the question, whatever is the question given. So our question is divided into two parts. पहला पार्ट है ट्रांसबॉर्डर क्राइम्स, क्या होता है इन दोनों कंट्री के साथ बॉर्डर होने से. सेकेंड पार्ट इज क्रॉस बॉर्डर मूवमेंट ऑफ इंसर्जेंट्स. सो इफ यू लुक एट द ट्रांसबॉर्डर क्राइम, व्हाट आर द ट्रांसबॉर्डर क्राइम, इस क्वेश्चन में डिस्कस करने का चांसेस है. सो देयर आर क्वाइट अ फ्यू. आई ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन दोज पॉइंट्स हियर. So you can first put a subheading transborder crimes, that is the first point. Which are the transborder crimes that you can discuss in the exam? The most important ones are like arms and human trafficking. So if you look at the Myanmar border, it is very close to what we call the golden triangle. So if you look at the golden triangle, why it is significant? Here is India and this is Myanmar, and Myanmar is also part of this golden triangle, this much part. So in this golden triangle, what happens, this Yunnan province of China, here they produce weapons, the guns, the bombs, etc. यहाँ से क्या होता है, via Myanmar the arms are trafficked into India. Similarly, Thailand and Laos, they are involved in human trafficking also. Therefore, the first point what I try to give here is the transborder crime mein first point we have given arms and human trafficking mostly taking place because of the Myanmar border and the golden triangle. So this part you have to mention in the exam. You can give example as well, right? So similarly, you see arms trafficking news also is there. Basically, they are smuggled via Myanmar and it enters into Manipur. Okay. The second point in the analysis, you can talk about drug trafficking. The moment you talk about drug trafficking, once again the golden triangle, this part, the Shan state. This Shan state, what happens? They illegally produce the opium cultivation, etc. So therefore I mentioned here, opium cultivation in Myanmar ka Shan state and also its trade is a concern for India. So from the Shan state, the drugs also enter into India. It becomes what we can say another transborder crime. So here we can again mention reference to the golden triangle and how illegal force takes into India. As an example, you can mention heroin is what we can say the most drug trafficking item which is generally trafficked on this border. Okay, so these are the first and second subheadings within the transborder crime. The third part, you can talk about smuggling of cattle. This is another concern, the smuggling of cattle. So cattle is brought into India, say Haryana, Rajasthan, etc. to northeast, and from there also it is smuggled into Bangladesh. Okay, so cattle smuggling is very common, which are smuggled into Bangladesh. So this is another transborder crime which takes place, you can mention in the exam. The next transborder crime you can talk about in exam, smuggling of gold, also other goods. Basically the smuggling. So smuggling as a business is very popular between the Indo-Bangladesh border. Like gold is smuggled and also cigarettes are smuggled. Then endangered wildlife species are smuggled like snakes, turtle, etc. So lot of such smuggling also takes place along the border of Bangladesh also. So this is another point that you can add in your mains examination. Okay. The next point that you can discuss is the terrorist infiltration. This is also another transborder crime. So if you look at the last 2 year ka news, Al-Qaeda linked terror module busted in Assam, and also Assam police arrest 2 Bangladeshi terrorists. So there is a lot of terrorism, terrorist infiltration into northeast, specifically Assam also, right? So this is another point. So Assam has arrested many terrorists entering Assam from Bangladesh. They basically come to recruit youth. That point you have to mention. So if you look at the question, enumerate the transborder crimes. So what are the transborder crime that you can mention? So a quick summary. Transborder crime, you can talk about arms and human trafficking, drug trafficking, smuggling of cattle, smuggling of gold and other goods, terrorist infiltration. All these points you can discuss in the transborder crime. Now the next part of your question is insurgent movement across the border. Is there an insurgent movement across the border? What can you write about that in exam? So if you look at here, our Alpha, all Tripura Tiger Force, NLFT, NDFB, all these insurgent groups which are mostly in Assam, Tripura, which have border with Bangladesh, they have their camps in Bangladesh, basically Chittagong, Kagrachari and Sylhet districts of Bangladesh. So if you look at here, we have these districts. This is the Kagrachari district, this is the Chittagong district, and this is where you will find Sylhet, right? This is the Kagrachari and that is Chittagong, etc. Now if you see, these are the areas where terrorists, what we can say, the insurgent groups have their camps in Bangladesh. So exam mein you can mention at least some names concretely so that your answer becomes to the point. Quality of the answer will also increase. Okay. So when you talk about insurgent movement, these are the things you can mention. Okay. So now We need a proof also. If you see Alpha Chairman Arvind Rajkova, he was arrested in Bangladesh. Similarly, Ranjan Daimari, NDFB chief, he was also arrested in Bangladesh, then handed over to the BSF. BSF handed him over to Assam police. Now these are the news, therefore these are the facts you can mention in your exam answer writing. Similarly, there are insurgent groups which are operating in Nagaland, Manipur, right, which have close border with Myanmar. So these insurgent group operating in Nagaland and Manipur, they also cross over to Myanmar. So therefore, both Bangladesh and Myanmar, it provides what we can say a hiding place for the insurgent groups. So that point also you can mention. I have also given here some names which you can use for your answer writing in the exam. Okay. So we have so far discussed how to write the body of the question, that is the transborder crime as well as the insurgent movement. So your question has one more part. Examine the steps taken by the government to protect या secure the border. तो इसमें हम क्या लिख सकते हैं? How do you present this part of the question? So some hint I have given here. The measures या strategy या steps by the government. The government basically uses multiple strategy या multi-pronged strategy, such as providing border security force, border infrastructure, border area development program, and also the legal and the institutional arrangement to deal with trans-border crimes. So in this part, what do we discuss? So first you talk about the border security forces. The border security forces, we actually deploy 4 border security forces, right? So which are the 4 border security forces? We have these 4, the BSF, which looks after the Bangladesh border and Pakistan border, ITBB for China border, SSB for Nepal and Bhutan border, Assam Rifle for Myanmar border. But our question particularly focuses on Bangladesh and Myanmar from northeast point of view. So in this context, what we can do, you can talk about the Bangladesh border which is guarded by BSF and the Myanmar border which is guarded by Assam Rifles, right? So these two reference you can mention in exam. The next part of the government steps are border infrastructure. Suppose government provides border outpost, fencing along the border, comprehensive integrated border management system, basically where you cannot have a physical fencing. In such cases we use this one, CIBMS. Then we are constructing roads along the border and also providing flood lighting. So if you look at, these are the border infrastructure, like a floating outpost is there on the river side in Bangladesh border. This is the fencing, and government also provides flood lighting along the border. These are the points what we call border infrastructure. So you can write it in short also in case if the answer is a little short answer. Okay? The third one is border area development program. Border area development program is basically implemented by the state government, but it comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Now what is the focus of this border area development program? It is to deal with the, what we can say, the special developmental needs of which people, those who are living in a very remote area, inaccessible area, which is along the international border. Normally 0 to 10 kilometer, from the border, they are given the preference for development. So this point also you can mention as initiatives taken by the government. The next one is the legal system. So we have a lot of transborder crimes, drug trafficking, human trafficking, arms trafficking, wildlife trafficking, etc. So to deal with these kind of criminals, we have a legal system. We can arrest them and then we can give punishment legally. So for that we have a lot of laws, special acts in India. Like we have a PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, to deal with money laundering. Prevention of illicit traffic and narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. This is for drug trafficking control. The Immoral Traffic Prevention Act is for human trafficking control. The Arms Act 1959, which is amended now and then, it is basically for arms trafficking, illegal transborder crime. UAPA basically deals with terrorists who are operating, who come into India, arrest them, whatever. The NIA is also created by the NIA Act, which actually implements the UAPA. The NIA Act creates the NIA, the National Investigation Agency. The NIA is the agency जो terrorist को arrest करते हैं, investigate करते हैं, they take up the cases. Then to deal with this fake currency, etc., which is circulated via Bangladesh into India, we have the Combating Financing of Terrorism Cell, in short we say CFT cell. So if you look at this question, so when mains mein you get a question like this in the GS paper 5, which deals with Assam, and also questions from Northeast they give in general. So this is one question I try to give you with an explanation like how to write an answer for 250 words basically. So 250 words means you have to write a 4-page answer. So you write an introduction. In the body you discuss what are the main focus of the question, that is the transborder crime and you insurgent movement, and then examine the steps taken by government. These are the key words that you have to discuss. After that you can write a small conclusion that the government is actively protecting the border from the transborder crimes and insurgents, etc. That is your small personal conclusion you can write. Okay. So this question with the model answer also will be available in the link you can download for your reading purpose. Okay. For any further information you can contact BhadraIASAcademy at 8638391721. Okay. For any further information you can contact, and we will keep posting more videos for your exam preparation. Okay. So prepare well and write the exam well. Specifically the GS paper 5 is quite dynamic. So today we discussed one question and we will try to give you more questions. Thank you.